Hello, beautiful multi-dimensional beings, earth angels, light warriors, starseeds incarnated. Welcome back, or hello if you're new to another channel reading and message for you beautiful souls, the astral travelers of the collective, tuned into higher planes. The message coming through for you today is really interesting because how it was being brought through is that Spirit was bringing through this message of how there's almost seeds, meaning energy packages, and they are planted and lying dormant in particular timelines of frequency. These seeds that lie dormant are activated and acknowledged and discovered when connected to that vibrational plane. We are always, and you guys as the astral travelers, are moving between these frequency planes a lot because you do different work in different frequency planes by mapping out consciousness, exploring those frequency planes as they're laid out in your mind. Different frequency planes have different vibrational frequencies. They have different experiences, different journeys, different learning lessons, and also entering different frequency planes is entering different states of consciousness. And so when you're entering different states of consciousness, you're connecting to these differing planes, and in these differing planes, let's say higher dimensional planes, perspectives are different, truths are different. The pieces connect together in a way that allows the room for expanded information and also ideas of certain frequencies, because remember, like manifestations, ideas, or inventions and things like that, they lie in higher planes a lot of the time. So you guys, you are the shamans and the seers of the collective. And why I say this is because shamans and seers are those individuals who enter different varying states of consciousness to pull information or perspectives and knowledge and wisdom out of those planes. So you are this shaman energy because you are very cyclical and you're very flowing with the waves of your energy cycles. So sometimes you may feel low, sometimes you may feel high, but at the same time it's like you're going to jump around these planes a bit more than maybe someone who's not in this role of activated shaman or seer or light worker, right? And so what's coming through is that there are dormant seeds that are being activated in higher timelines for you. They're being activated because you seem to be connecting to a certain state of consciousness that is connected to this plane of vibration. It's very much connected to higher timelines in a sense of the bigger picture. These dormant energies are seeds that were planted and maybe even brushed upon in past periods of time. Why I say this is because there is an invention, there is an idea, a creation, or something that you guys are going to birth into reality that is laying in this higher timeline. And it can be something that you've already briefly brushed upon before in thought travels connected to this higher plane, very connected to the new earth frequencies. These can be ideas that were in passing, that were not disregarded as if we don't care, but like we move on from them and we forget about them, and they're being reactivated because these these inventions, these ideas, then they're almost coming through as planted in these higher timeline planes from your spirit guides or higher dimensional beings. Because you guys tuning in for this specific reading, you are going to co-create this lifetime and co-create with your spirit team or with higher dimensional beings. Why it's a co-creation is because there's either downloads attached to this of channeling information to you that will then be utilized into whatever this is, or this is something that is progressing in correlation to the higher timelines we're moving into, say progression for humanity, new ways of healing. So this can be connected to higher dimensional healing, energy healing, crystal work, life coaching, shamanism, tarot reading. This can also be connected to creation of some kind. So say creating an oracle deck or a tarot deck, creating your own thing that is slightly different, because what's coming through here as well is there can also be buildings, retreats, this can be schools, this can be This can be structures, this can be architectural structures, this can be dreams or ideas that you've seen and they are connected to a higher timeline that you will be moving into in the future, even if it feels far away right now, right? Because there's something very interesting about how all these star seeds and light workers are stepping upon or going to connect to these higher timeline inventions, and you are going to birth something this lifetime that is never been done before. Now let me explain this a bit better. This has even never been done before in a sense of the way that you're doing it, the specific way you're doing it. So for example, books have been wrote for centuries, but maybe you're going to write a book that's slightly different, or not been done or seen or looked at in quite that perspective or angle. Maybe you'll write a non-fiction, right, based on actual passing over of knowledge, but maybe this is a book that is a concept that no one's done before. Maybe this is, for example, you doing something in a slightly different way to what has been done before, but it's in this energy of revolutionary idea because it is very different. So this could also be a path that you take that is a niche, and along that path you stumble upon birthing ideas that are very unique and progressive. Also, for some of you, this is an idea you've already connected to in the past that's been laying dormant, that is now being activated. For others of you, this is an idea that you don't even know about yet, that you will be connecting to. This is an idea that's laying in a higher timeline. And so whoever's watching right now, you either already know what this is, or this is your confirmation because maybe you've intuitively sensed before. You guys are on this co-creational path, and there are co-creations that maybe you don't even know about yet that you will end up birthing into this timeline, into this reality further along the line. These are timeless readings, and of course connecting to certain timelines of frequency means that it's a 360 span, so we can be at different points along that timeline. But the timeline frequency I'm connecting to is a very interesting one because it's full of ideas that are almost revolutionary or very different, or different from how they've been done before or previously. Say for example you paint, maybe you start painting with a material or in a way that's never been done before, or that is, it's like you discover something, you're discovering something, but this is in co-creation, okay? So again, some of you, this could be pertaining to higher healing paths. For example, sharing knowledge about, through some creation of yours, about higher dimensional concepts. So higher dimensional concepts can just be, again, understanding healing, energy healing from a different level, or the body, mind and soul from a different level, understanding reality from a higher level. I'm seeing a falling white feather, by the way, you guys. But it's that this is all coming into activation. So as you connect with certain planes, you are activating certain stored energies that were planted there to be discovered by you, and they are going to be co-creational energies with you and higher dimensional beings. You guys actually channel and are connected to higher dimensional beings. And why I find this interesting is because you are coming through as a messenger. Through the dawns and centuries of time, you guys, humans have collaborated with higher dimensional beings to progress humanity, to progress the evolution of our nature, whether that was for agricultural purposes, whether this was for healing purposes about the body, whether this was medicinal purposes, whether this was architectural, architectural, like buildings and building civilizations, whether this was for science, okay, always think back to the atom, splitting of the atom. Like, we've always been assisted by higher dimensional beings, but there's things that have happened along the course of time that have allowed humanity to almost take a step back in progression of consciousness. And that is what you guys are here for, is that these higher beings can't connect with our societies of humanity in the same way that they did before, because there would be chaos ensued because of the level of consciousness that people as a collective overall are embodying. Those starseeds and light workers, you are taken away from these fear vibrations and connected to this bigger picture, and you are in co-creation with higher dimensional beings, because at one point in time they would have assisted us in person, and now they cannot do that. So what do? They have to work through people. They work through the shamans, they work through all the information that they'd be bestowing upon us back in ancient times, or all the skills, right? Because they're teachers of the arts, they're teachers of these higher vibrational frequencies, like creation, okay, divine creation and progressive creation. So again, whether that's the arts, buildings, architecture, whether that is science, medical advancements, things like this, science advancements, the quantum field, they have always been assisting us through time, and that is why we've been able to make such leaps and bounds as a humanity, as a collective of souls. But there is things that happen through time, meaning they had to pull away, and now we're in these levels of integration back to that point. Okay, so you guys may be very connected to Atlantean periods of times. I was also getting through Mayans, and also the Aztecs were very, very, very strong. Egyptian times, these were all times where you would have been incarnated, and you're connected to your ancient nature in this way too. Maybe you're familiar, you had ancient incarnations. You would have been in civilizations that actually worked with extraterrestrial beings or higher dimensional beings. But now it can't really happen in that way. So they're utilizing starseeds and light workers to channel through, to still pass information through to humanity and society. In order to keep connection with us. They still keep connection with us, but not in the ways that they did back in our ancient beginnings. They keep connection with us through telepathy, and only certain souls can telepathically connect with these beings. It's that all souls can, but only certain souls are open to being able to connect with those states of consciousness, and you are one of those souls. So the thing is that you guys is that these are the teachers. So they are teachers, they're ancient teachers. So they may be teaching through you, meaning they could be teaching through you in something that you create. And this creation can look very different. This can be songs, this can be music, this can be literally anything, but it's that they're carrying through this co-creational tone in assistance with you. So you guys may be placed into incarnational roles, or intuitively pulled to roles in this incarnation, like teaching, researching, learning, creation, creativity, the arts, because you guys are co-creating with them in the ways that they used to, that they can't now. And so us starseeds light workers, we're birthing high vibrational timeline ideas that have been implanted by higher dimensional beings, or our spirit guides or spirit team. And so some of you, I really was getting through that energy very strongly of, this is completely unknown of, like, this has never been done before in this way. Or if you're doing something, it's like it's not done very often. It needs to be put out into the world, or shared into the world at a deeper level. So again, this can be adding to societies, like we said, like maybe you guys have a deep down dream of building a retreat, or living out in the nature, or building some type of school, or building some type of collaboration point. Maybe you guys want to teach or build a community where you can allow souls to join together in creative ways. Maybe this is to do with science. Maybe some of you have theories that have been passed down to you from higher dimensional beings regarding quantum physics, quantum computing, about medical, about healthcare, about psychology, and about the mind as well. And so this is why it's very interesting, because you guys are connecting to these altering states of consciousness where you're actually unlocking these higher timeline inventions or energies that exist in advanced periods of time or civilizations that we are moving into. So you guys, it really was coming through that you are channeling with these higher beings, and that you've built a strong enough connection to yourself to be able, You know, you've been being assisted by your spirit guides all this time to be ushered into this self-connection. So you've been through periods of time of dormancy, hermit mode, isolation, and you have a very different path in order to be able to forge that telepathic connection or connect to your deeper spiritual nature or your ancient nature. There have been certain happenings and orchestrations within your path that have led you to connect with these energies, and that is for a specific reason. So you guys, like we say a lot of the time, the new earth architects. But why this was relevant as well is because it could be coming back around, like, oh my god, I feel emotionally connected back and passionate to this idea that I briefly touched upon in the past, that I felt like was really big. Or maybe you guys literally wrote a whole book or started creating, or you conceptualized. This is a conception too. You guys have already conceptualized something that was conceptualized and then planted to be refound in a later period of time in your incarnation when you're connecting to this plane again, because it will be co-created in divine time with certain shifts within the collective. So that was the message that was coming through for you guys. We might have some extra information in here. The Sumerians, Ice Age, the Mayans, we said all this. Yeah, so maps and calendars were coming through, and artists are the record keepers. So maps and calendars, this could be someone wants to map out something. Maybe this can be drawing a map. This can be physical, or this can be a map to do with like the mind, or a map of consciousness, or a map of the body in a way that we are still integrating knowledge about, like our Taurus field or something like this. And calendars as well. So you guys could have been doing this type of work in the past incarnations as well, like maps, calendars, because history has always been recorded through time, but it's evolved in how we've been recording it. So history has been recorded through time, carried over through creation, through the arts, through architecture, through structures, through drawings, through myths and legends, through songs and tales that pass down the knowledge of our history. So you guys are the record keepers as well, and are tapping into some record keeping information that's giving you a higher perspective on the bigger picture, which deeper connects you to these higher planes with these ideas or progressive ideas in, or inventions in. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, we are moving. We are progressing through humanity, and something in the lower consciousness is that lower consciousness feels like everything's just going over and over again, and everything's going to stay the same, but like carry on progressing. But we are moving through a particular storyline, and there are, like we see in tarot, judgment cards. There are interactions between the earth and humanity. This earth is a living creature. This earth is a living consciousness. And this earth interacts with us, and we're in co-creation with the earth. Something humans have forgot that starseeds remember is that we're in co-creation with the earth, and that the earth is a living source and being. And this is forgotten through time, and the earth will fight back in order to protect herself. Judgment Day and Reckoning, you know what I mean, is that starseeds are changing the collective timelines to move into these high frequencies, because in lower timelines, humanity from these lower frequencies would naturally lead into destruction, would naturally lead into disasters and a purging and a cleansing. Starseeds are here to alter the trajectory of the higher timeline into higher timelines. The trajectory of the collective timelines into higher timelines, which means not only healing for the self as individuals, healing as a collective for the earth, connecting back with the earth. You guys are reminding me as well of Native Americans. You bring through a Native American energy, in the fact that some of you may have been or have connected to past lives of being a medicine man or a medicine woman, and having this deeper knowledge, conscious awareness of connection with the earth. And that's something you've continued and carried over through this incarnation as well. You're helping to change this trajectory into these higher timelines, which means a healing for the earth and humanity in co-creation of, or in unison of. And that's why a lot of these higher timeline ideas you're coming across are really pertaining to this higher timeline information. So like we said about higher timeline information about quantum, auras, the mind, body, soul, healing, everything like this. ecological living, harmonious living, adapting and changing the way that things have been before. So starseeds channel telepathically with these beings, and they've passed you many higher understandings and knowledge before. You have been passed higher knowledge and understandings from these beings before. You guys have like understandings of things that you've not read about, or maybe you've been led to read and research certain things because you've been downloaded information about it, and upon researching been confirmed that, because you are literally being passed information about the mind, body and soul from these higher beings as well. So they could be connecting with you again at a deeper level, and the ones coming through the most strongest were the mantis beings. You could be seeing certain insects as well, but the mantis beings, the blue avians, and you could be seeing certain birds connecting with you because of that. White owl spirit has been very strong. Oh, a bird just flew past my window as I said that. So the blue avians, the mantis beings, and also the agatharians as well could be relevant for you guys. But there could be some I've not mentioned, but you guys maybe connect to actually specific starseeds, or you resonate with specific race of starseeds, or you're deeper connected to them for some reason. So yeah, so until we have as a collective moved into 5D consciousness, we cannot reconnect with these higher beings, because, you know, it's that we can't connect with them because their frequency is of higher planes. And if their frequency is of higher planes, not only is it more subtle energy, it's that if they were to come into contact with a lower vibrational being, such as a lower conscious human, it would automatically, atom to atom, vibration to vibration, vibrations want to match up. So we either have to match them or they get pulled down to us. But because they're such a solid higher frequency, we are forced to match their energy, which means that all of the heaviness that would be stopping us from being at that frequency comes to the surface and is projected onto them in fear, and it's like it wouldn't be beneficial for humanity in that way, for our healing as a collective. But certain starseeds who've entered certain states of consciousness can be revealed this information, truths and knowledge, because it's not going to psychologically affect them in the same way as someone operating from a lower paradigm of beliefs or knowing about this reality. It would not help their healing, you know, because in a way it would cause destruction, and lower conscious beings would actually want to fight against. They would not see it as together, they would see it as a threat and protection from. And so until we've evolved, as starseeds are helping the lower conscious beings of the collective ascend and evolve, and until they've ascended and evolved to a certain state, we will not be in reconnection with these higher beings until that point. But until then, they are still connected to us because they're working through us with certain beings incarnated in the collective. So we never lost connection with these higher beings. They just started working with us in different ways from like certain events that occurred that we're kind of healing back from. They've passed you information before about history or storylines of consciousness. I was also getting through dolphins, and the planet, the starseed constellation Sirius could be really connected to you as well. So that has been your message. I really do feel like this was confirmation, because some of you, these higher timeline ideas could feel very almost futuristic, or almost quite far out of reach, but they're wanting you to know that they're not as far out of reach as we think, because as humanity we're all progressing, and there's going to be a lot more starseeds and light workers stepping into creating these new structures, new inventions and new ideas that are going to be correlated to the same frequency, which almost allows other starseeds to deeper step into their creational energies. There's also going to be divine time collaborations between starseeds who are working along the same high missional path. Say for example 10 people are connected in a soul contract, in a co-collaboration with higher beings that are wanting to manifest a specific structure or a specific teachings here. It's like we can also be contracted in co-collaborational paths with this higher mission as well. So these are things that cannot be stopped. They will find you in divine time. And there's something about patience in this too, because it is for the long term, the bigger picture, the overall picture. And so no matter how much time it takes, this is a divine creation. again, you guys, some of you already know what this is. It's something that you really were fired up about in the past, or passionate about, or thought was very important, or like a big discovery that kind of was then laying dormant as a seed ever since, and is now being reconnected and activated because you're stepping into connection with this state of consciousness again, connected to these higher planes. So we have redirection and detours coming out. This is spirit guided timeline orchestrations and side quests. Again, so redirection can be the fact that the redirection is maybe past timeline, but in the way of them being past timeline, it's actually a future timeline you were connecting to in the past that you're moving into now. In the past, there were higher timelines you connected with of yourself that you are now moving into, okay, but you already saw these, envisioned these, or conceptualized these back in the past or something. So this redirection is almost like a back direction, if that makes sense. One more card to clarify your message in your reading that we have coming out here. We have magnetic fields, energy distortion, sensing, feeling, warping of subtle energy, push and pull. So this could be something about magnetic fields. Like what just came into mind then was those little devices that you put in front of or on technology, which changes their frequency and it doesn't impact our auric field as much. Someone could be getting an invention about magnetic that assists in magnetic fields. Another one that came to mind is grounding sheets. Those sheets you put on your bed or on the floor and you plug them into the wall and they ground down into the earth. These are higher timeline inventions. These are inventions that are being co-created and assisted by higher beings. Magnetic fields, this could be a type of clothing someone's going to invent that doesn't have that are very conducting and doesn't affect our magnetic field. You know, a lot of clothes have plastic in, and we are magnetic conductors, we're electricity, and there's certain things that conduct electricity and certain things that are not conductive, they're insulative of it. So someone could be having inventions come in for little things like this. This can be grounding shoes, I just had come into my mind. Shoes that connect our root chakra to the ground, because again, shoes are isolating for our energy fields. These are so many cool ideas that are attached to this. Magnetic fields. This can be about crystals, about how crystals can reduce the magnetic interference we're having from technology or something like this. You know, we also have receiving transmissions and frequency transmissions. So again, you guys are going to be receiving certain transmissions right now. Some of you may have been ushered into an isolation phase or into a hermit mode whilst you're so that you can remain in this receptive state to receive these ideas or progressive inspirations, right? Again, some of you may not even know what this is, but in the future you're going to literally stumble upon an idea that is gifted to you, that is revolutionary, or is something that's slightly never been done before in the way that's going to be done, even if it's in a field that is already established. Okay, we have forgotten civilizations coming out, reincarnations, to link the memory gap. The missing pieces of our history and consciousness lie inside of us. There's going to be certain Sarsis with a fiery interest in history because there are missing gaps in our history to still be reconnected. And so it's like, you know, our interests, those are our missions. The things we feel passionate about, our interests, those are our missions. It's like, you know, if no one incarnated was interested in history, we wouldn't be opening or learning anything new about our history, because there's so much that we are misunderstanding about our past as human species and our connection with other planetary beings. So you guys may be connected to history or something about ancient civilizations. Like someone could create a book or a deck or some sort of source about ancient civilizations. Someone could love drawing or painting ancient civilizations, something like this. And yeah, so there's a lot of progressive teachings, ideas that are coming through. Perception of reality is coming out, states of consciousness and brainwave frequencies. Some of you, this could be about binaural technology, brainwave frequencies, binaural beats, frequencies, sound frequencies, creating music that has sound frequencies in or something. You know, we also have quantum entanglement coming out, simultaneous connection, mirror, experiencing non-localized consciousness with another source. So quantum entanglement, interesting. the message I get from that is that some of you are going to get higher timeline ideas at the exact same time as other starseeds you're quantumly entangled with, and along the progression of that path you will be united and then will collaborate into a bigger source of mission because you have the same agenda or something like that. Okay, and we have timelines closing, frequencies that no longer connect internally, alchemy and healing. So as certain timelines close out and we're moving through timelines in the progression of humanity, and that's what we perceive as linear time, is really just us moving and progressing through different timeline frequencies. As our consciousness evolves, we're allowed to move into different timelines that connect with our state of consciousness, and our states of consciousness is always kind of shifting and differing. Angelic ties, dimensional planes and frequencies. Some of you are co-creating with angelic ties. Okay, so this can be something, again, to do with more healing or mediumship and channeling and connecting those to frequencies past beyond the veil, because all humans are capable of doing that. And so there'll be certain way showers like mediums and shamans incarnated who can connect past the veil, because one of the progressions in consciousness is understanding that there is no separation, and one of the progressive understandings of consciousness that as a collective we'll move into is very much largely surrounded around death. Okay, this is one of the most misunderstood energies in the lower paradigms, is death. Linear, okay, life, death, line. Starseeds are connecting past beyond the veil and illuminating the cyclical nature. Life is not a straight line, it's a circle, and death and rebirth are at the same point. When we die, we transition and we transcend. Energy can never be created nor destroyed, and everything can be connected to within the mind. So you guys bringing this healing through in a sense of reconnecting others to pass beyond the veils or expanding their consciousness. And actually that's quite a progressive teaching for humanity, and a very healing one, is actually integrating the knowing that we are all always connected, that there is no such thing as energy just disappearing and is gone forever. And actually a lot of spirits and beings stay connected to us after death, and even non-spiritual people will see signs and synchronicities. We saw a falling white feather earlier in the reading. Even people will see these. And so this is the kind of energy that's progressing humanity, is connecting to this expanded state or perception of consciousness. Okay, so we also have wormhole coming out. So this wormhole is about energy cords and astral portals. The wormhole is that when you think of someone, you're going to pop up in their mind, and if they tune into that, you can start telepathying. So again, you're connecting to certain wormholes that are passing information to you from different dimensional planes or from different and specific beings. Right, that is where we're going to leave your reading today, beautiful souls. I love you so much, and I really cannot wait for all of these beautiful higher timelines, ideas and seeds that are lying dormant to come into activation. Remember, there is no rush. This is a very divinely orchestrated path and mission. But just know that maybe you've received these in the past, maybe you're yet to receive them, but it's a really cool feeling when you discover something that's never been done before. I think another lower paradigm of Earth is that we think at this point in time everything's been discovered, there's nothing new to invent or find out, when actually we're only ever just beginning. We've barely scraped the surface of discoveries. There's so much more new inventions to create, but we seem to, in the lower paradigms, be recreating the same thing again and again. Okay, in slightly different versions, but it's like the same thing. But starseeds are really connecting to ideas and progressive learnings or teachings that are bringing in a sense of new energy, and that's moving us into those new frequencies. So I love you all so much, and I will see and speak to you all in the next reading, beautiful souls. Mwah.